Vice President Harris says her campaign is prepared for various post-election scenarios, and a new report out says it could take hundreds of years for Gaza's economy to recover from the war with Israel. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Former President Donald Trump completed a second straight day of campaigning in North Carolina yesterday. At a rally in Greensboro, he promoted early voting, but as the campaign enters its final 2 weeks, Trump also continued to say inflammatory things to the delight of his fans. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben reports.
Trump spoke for more than an hour and a half, longer than he has spoken at many recent rallies as he accelerates campaigning ahead of Election Day. In his speech, Trump once again lied and said he won the election in 2020, as he has done many times, and falsely claimed that undocumented immigrants are, quote, conquering towns. He also insulted his opponents, calling former President Barack Obama a jerk and suggesting Kamala Harris is, quote, on drugs. Former Democratic Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard also made a brief appearance, voicing her support for Trump and announcing that she is now a Republican. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Vice President Harris says her campaign is prepared for various post-election scenarios. That includes the possibility that former President Trump might try to declare victory before all the votes are fully counted. NPR's Deepa Shivaram reports.
In an interview with NBC News, Harris said, quote, of course her team is considering that Trump will try once again to subvert the election. But in the next 2 weeks, she says she's focused on beating him.
And we will deal with election night and the days after as they come. And we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
Harris pointed to Trump's actions during the January 6th insurrection on the Capitol and called it a, quote, serious matter. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Saudi Arabia today. He's continuing the Biden administration's push for a ceasefire in Gaza. There's no sign that stalled peace talks may resume. A new United Nations report says it could take 350 years to bring Gaza's economy back to pre-war levels. But NPR's Kat Lonsdorf reports Gaza's economy was already precarious before this current war began.
The report by the UN Organization for Trade and Development lays out various scenarios for Gaza's economic recovery. The assessment of 350 years for recovery is based on Gaza's low previous growth rate and the destruction in the past year of war. Before this current war, Gaza's average yearly economic growth rate was just 0.4%, due in large part to an Israeli and Egyptian blockade after Hamas seized power in 2007 and multiple other wars. This war has left critical infrastructure in ruins and neighborhoods and roads obliterated. The report points out that if conditions are improved, with significant investment and no blockade or military operations, recovery could be faster. But even in the most optimistic scenario, it will still take until 2050. Kat Lonsdorf, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
You're listening to NPR News from Washington.